Doctor Who Episode 5, the one that features a spider. For absolutely no reason whatsoever.
What the hell is this?
And is in fact a companion piece to Dot and Bubble, the single most racist episode Doctor Who's ever done.
Because you are not one of us. I mean, screen-to-screen contact is just about acceptable, but in person, that's impossible.
If you just allowed me to save your lives.
Turn away, ladies, before we're contaminated.
This one doesn't let them down. The episode starts with Ncuti Gatwa giving you some mind-blowing information.
The first time I've had this black body.
Only going on to talk about how he really loves Africa.
They
treat you like one of their own.
Why would they do that? And then the companion, well...
My nan took me to India whenever she could for the same reason. Say you're not human, but that's the most human thing ever, Doctor.
Both of these people love their homeland so much. The people are so much nicer. That's where I want to be. And that's why I live in the UK.
definitely London.
I thought it was a really powerful and clever episode.
There's even a scene where we go through a marketplace and everyone's happy and cheering. It's basically a paradise. Very different than what happens if they actually go there.
I'd rather go back to America and deal with the racism in America before I sit here in Africa and deal with the bribery, fraud, scams, too expensive, not having no snacks.
I mean, you can tell that's someone that needs their snacks.
Not having no food, electricity, hot water, colorful lizards you ain't never seen before, sleeping with you.
Now, some may say that Ncuti Gatwa go on talking about how amazing his homeland is when he left there because they were massacring each other. But there is the Barber of the show, who came out and said that Doctor Who is quintessentially British. And in this episode, they made sure it stayed true to that by banning all the English people, and the Scottish people, and the Welsh people, and the Irish people. In just a few short episodes, we went from the first non-white TARDIS to the first non-white episode. Now, the last time that happened in Doctor Who, Russell T Davies said this.
What we can't tell is how many people will have worked that out before the ending, because they've seen white person after white person after white person. And television these days is very diverse. I wonder, will you be 10 minutes into it? Will you be 15? Will you be 20? Before you start to think everyone in this community is white. And if you don't think that, why didn't you? So that's going to be interesting. I hope it's one of those pieces of television you'll see and always remember.
So this time, I made sure to notice and point it out immediately. You're not catching me out again. I'm ready for the BBC's racism this time.
It's the moment when we look around and everyone is white. And you just like,
Trying to make her really insufferable, but like a real person.
He thought people should really watch it because it was gorgeous, beautifully written, so emotional, emotive, in an understated kind of way. And it guided his hand in writing this.
I thought it was a really powerful and clever episode.
He was like a Sith Lord letting the hate flow through him. I just want to see more stories like that. We need more bigots.
The moral of the story turns out to be someone like that's better in her bubble because she's the monster.
Oh, my life, you're stupid.
But my favourite part is how they're like, yes, this was a story about racism. It was all about how he looked, the aesthetic of the character. And I want to see more stories like that, where the way he looks doesn't get in the way of his primary objective. Moving forwards, I just like to see interesting stories where looks aren't key to the story. So I wrote one where the entire story is based around how he looks, to the point where I wouldn't allow an English person on the set. You might taint it. Here, the colour of his skin is how he interacts with people, but it doesn't really matter. I'm going to bring it up and make it the primary aspect of the entire TV. Doesn't matter, though. This was a hug, an olive branch to fans that exist in that part of the world. Who cares about the English? I was trying to give credit to the nuance and racial diversity that exists within Nigeria itself. What? Look, maybe it's just my ignorance, I don't know. What I wasn't ready for was the quality of this episode and the fact that it seems like it's written by a 3-year-old.
They both used to work for her father, but he was mean, so they left.
There's a complex piece of prose I think we can all agree. But then again, what more did I expect from the guy that said, the show invited me to dream, to live beyond my reality. And then he made an episode about what happens in barbershops. No, I'm not joking. The main theme of this episode is the Doctor gets a haircut.
Barbershop? The TARDIS does your hair.
It does.
Among other topics.
Slavery and deep suffering.
I don't even know why she's bringing it up. She's a pissing alien. But no one ever accused the BBC writers of having enough talent to be able to compartmentalise knowledge across characters. How would a space alien know about that? I don't know. I know it though, and so she knows it. Now this episode is The Story and the Engine. It was written by Inua Elms about a barbershop. and how a barbershop is a safe place for him. Don't know why. Doesn't strike me as the kind of guy that needs them too often. I mean, yes, you get someone to carve your beard out so that you're the same shape as a Tic Tac. But apart from that, and obviously, as you'd expect for a writer of Doctor Who, this guy has vast amounts of experience. From 2016 to now, he's written 2 episodes of television. Maybe that's because he was too busy being the Nigerian Keats, one of which are We Are Lady Parts. If you want to write on Doctor Who, I'm not sure you can count experience on a TV show that's essentially called I'm a Minge. But I'm willing to let that go, because it's even worse than his IMDb looks. As says, I've been working my butt off in television and the screen industry for 12 years. But this episode is the first thing that's been made. These 2 TV series don't even exist. As shocking as it may be to find out, there's a TV show called We Are Clunge didn't make it to screen.
Lady Parts had a tour and a following of actual human fans.
Actual human fans! Not those robotic fans that we're all so jealous of. Look, I'm just saying from this screenshot, I can understand why that band didn't take off. That's the face of a true rocker right there. I'm a right rebel. That's why you can only see my eyes. I'm gonna rebel as I submit. This is my villain era. This is the birth of punk. The face of punk. Why did this show not exist? This would have been gold. It had 2 seasons. It's a sitcom with 2 seasons. Channel 4. I've never been more excited in my life. That's the episode of Doctor Who we needed. I don't know why I knew his episode never came out for this. Not only does he strike me as a master comedian, but that's got to be his area of expertise, doesn't it? Punk women. That's the first thing I think of. He does commissions for 10 grand that he gets from the government as well. That's punk to me. Now, if I told you that everything that's just happened isn't the strangest part about this man, I'm not sure you'd believe me. But there is a paragraph in this article which is even stranger than the episode itself, and how it was Russell T Davies that basically commanded him to do it. Not his artistic idea, it was Russell's. I don't know what Russell's been doing in a barbershop, but I think we can guess, especially when you get down to his description of them. What does a barbershop mean for foreign audiences? Well, it's a safe place to be loud, boisterous, to take up space. I think they're 2-dimensional in the actual world, and then they go into a barbershop and explode. Like, oh my god, I'm so deep now. To tell stories, be gregarious without prying eyes. This is because outside of the barbershop, our enthusiasm is mistaken for aggression. Just enthusiasm. Some mostly enthusiastic barbershop, where we can let our guard down, and where we let other men beautify us. It's at this moment that things take a turn. And I'm not sure what Harry's talking about anymore, because it gets worse. When you're cocooned in the barber's cloth, you have to sit still and be taken care of. It's a place where you negotiate masculinity at its most extreme and its most subtle, are constantly evolving and changing. I'm like, are you paying for a happy ending? Is that what's happening? I don't go into a barbershop and negotiate masculinity, let alone get cocooned in somebody's changing aroma. It's like, what? You're negotiating intergenerational power dynamics all the time. Bro, I hate getting my hair cut as it is. If I had to negotiate my masculinity in an intergenerational power dynamic just to get my head shaved, my hair would grow longer than it already does. If I sit in a chair and the elder walks in, do I have to get up? Who do I call uncle? People who are your pissing uncle. Who do I talk to like a little boy? Sounds quite sociopathic, doesn't it? I need to call someone a family member and then I need to talk down to somebody who is inferior to me. It's a pissing barbershop, mate. At this point, I'm wondering if negotiating your masculinity is getting bent over the sink. I'll give you one thing. You can tell this guy is an artist because somebody else gave him this setting and he just made up an absolute load of twaddle about it. You should do modern art, mate. They'd absolutely love you. But of course, Inua made a problem because not only is this episode very poorly written, but it doesn't really have a villain because he couldn't make one. He couldn't make any of the people that he wanted in this episode be evil. And I don't know why it was a challenge for him because the BBC nailed this ages ago. What you needed was an Englishman.
In a prison cell, boiling in anger and poison till your heart packs in age 49.
Like we found this out in the last episode. Put an Englishman in your episode. You can make him as evil as you want.
Because it's ridiculous.
Of radical blogs, subscription to Albion TV, revisionist podcasts, an echo chamber of disinformation.
What do you mean?
He's a sperm and an egg.
Now, of course, that does have the byproduct of instantly making him the best person in your entire episode, just like happened in the last one.
I don't accept your reality, Doctor. So put me back in my prison and get off my world.
This is the same problem they had in Robin Hood. He's the best thing in the show. He's the best thing in the show. But it is a fact that if you want a villain that's more complicated than, oh, I'm ever so sorry, I'm just misunderstood,
All I wanted was to be credited for my work.
then you're either going to need to suck it up, Buttercup, and make one of your preferred people evil, or let it be our burden.
As they decide whether to share or to shaft.
Hell, you could have cast David Tennant in the role. He's got the two characteristics you need. Not only does he act evil,
I feel like history is on a progressive trajectory as someone who become a sort of de facto activist.
but he's used to taking part in incredibly expensive flops with dismal ratings.
Welcome to Genius Games.
Genius game.
He even gets less viewers than you, so ironically, coming back to Doctor Who would be an upgrade for him.
Someone was writing that you're going to be coming back, Doctor Who.
Nobody's told me.
That's what you said in The Guardian.
The only question left, which will end first, the culture war or your career? David Tennant is one of the 3 most dislikable people I've ever worked with, says Irish producer. Even Millie Gibson, the only attractive person that they dared put in the show, responded to woke criticisms as just watch it and get over it. Not our job to entertain the audience anymore. No, you've just got to choke it down. Don't you understand? Doctor Who's always been crap. She loves Jinx Monsoon. I have no problem with Jinx as long as I don't meet him down a dark alley. I say them, I'm not sure the correct way to talk about it. So I'm going to let Russell T Davies clear it up.
By his invention, his genius, and their invention, their genius, so has a very hard time defeating them.
So join me as we watch Doctor Who get a haircut in an episode described by words I thought I'd never say. Set in the dark, dangerous location, which is a barber shop. The show starts with a man who looks very happy to be there.
Long time ago, back in the village when I was a small boy.
I'm gonna need subtitles for this one, aren't I? But in the background, we get 1 FPS cartoons.
People running and screaming.
They'd just seen Doctor Who. But he says how he went to try and put it out.
They laughed at me. What are you doing?
Why the country's in such a good state. Community spirit. I tried to put out our civilization that's on fire. Why are you doing that? Just let it burn. Eventually, though, the Doctor turns up, gets a hose pipe, and just starts putting it all out. He isn't a spaceship that can travel through time and space and has swimming pools in. You could have just dumped all the swimming pools out the door in one go. No. He just uses a hose pipe.
Stood at the door with a hose pipe, spraying.
You sure that was a hose pipe? He just started pissing on me. It is the BBC. Less said about their interview structure, the better. Also, that doesn't look like a hose pipe. That looks like he's got a handheld vacuum cleaner.
Spraying and spraying.
He's certainly spraying something. But that is the story of how he met the Doctor.
Are you a farmer? I am the doctor.
A witch doctor. But then, as he turns round, you get to see, I hesitate to call it a hairstyle, as it looks like he's got a buy one get one free offer on wigs. Decided to wear them both. It looks like he's got the offcuts of carpets and just stuck it to his face. It looks like someone covered him in super glue and just rolled him round the BBC offices for a bit. We don't need a vacuum cleaner, we've got Dave's face. But he looks at the light dangerously. Whew, thank God that's gone green, because nobody knows. At no point does it tell you what happens if it doesn't go green. Everyone does a sigh of relief, but it's okay, because it always goes green. They filled the episode with a cast that they can't kill. They're too perfect, they're too good. They couldn't possibly make a mistake. Oh, they couldn't fail. What would that say about our preferred group? But then they ask an interesting question.
You're sure that this doctor will come?
Yes, he always comes when needed.
Sometimes when he isn't. He's as big a fan of explosions as Michael Bay. Oh no, the Doctor's coming.
We need him now. It needs feeding.
This is the most realistic part of the episode, that a story about the Doctor is absolutely useless. Even the ship doesn't care about it. But as we travel through the winking eye of the BBC casting couch... Was it good for you too? We meet Belinda, who is doing exactly what you'd expect.
You need to get me home.
Whining like a bitch. You've got an infinite amount of rooms in there, you still haven't managed to lose her in one. But the Doctor has a plan on how they can boost the signal.
We can boost the Vindicator.
Yes, we're not going to boost the Vindicator. We're going to boost the Vindicator! What's happened there, mate? Have you been doing this so often you just have a nervous tick now? Whenever I get excited, I just start pleasuring a ghost. It's an automatic reflex.
If we go to...
Go where?
Lagos, Nigeria.
Why? What's your plan to get her so stoned that she forgets she wants to go home?
It has the largest communications technology market in Africa.
So, you can travel through all of time and space. The largest technology market in Africa is like saying, I've found the happiest person in Slough, the smallest criminal record in Liverpool, the classiest person in Newcastle, or the most sober person in Scotland. Yeah, if we're gonna go for it, I'm offending everybody. Stereotypes are a good thing, because they're true. In fact, the only reason he can think this is a compliment is if he's watched a Wakanda movie.
Almost Palace.
My favorite barbershop?
He has a favourite barbershop in the universe. Maybe it's because they do a back sack and crack, I don't know.
It's a friend of mine. We met in a fire.
Was it a bush fire?
Barbershop? The TARDIS does your hair.
I'm sorry? I wasn't even paying attention, but some things are so stupid you've got to watch it twice.
The TARDIS does your hair.
It does.
Ow. Is that why this TARDIS is a massive dome shape to fit your afro in? The doorway has to be bigger on the inside.
I don't go there for cuts.
I just go there for the happy ending?
Hard to explain.
I have to explain to you my racism, but it's okay, because I have a feeling that you are as well. So he looks outside, and it is surprising that he doesn't get mugged.
2019, a great year.
2019. They abolished slavery yet? Okay, it looks like they made it illegal in 1961. Oh look, the Igbo traditionally maintained their caste system. The Osu were regarded as spiritually inferior and segregated. They were either kept as slaves or sold into the slave trade. As of 2020, their descendants still face discrimination by the Igbo people. Sounds like a great year to visit, especially as previously your companion had this attitude towards segregation.
The diner is segregated, no blacks, which includes you.
She's horrified for some reason. I'm sure she'll get really pissed about this one. She wouldn't be virtue signaling, would she? But I can understand why Ncuti Gatwa is this happy. He loves an extendable shaft. Oh, he's so happy! He's arrived in the place where they'd throw him off a roof.
I'm not human.
I wasn't going to say anything myself. Can you do a hate crime against yourself? I'm not sure. You probably could make a comment that offended yourself and then report yourself to the police. I think they'd investigate.
I am an evolved life form.
Just crapping on her. Look, you're so inferior to me. Also, we're all evolved life forms, you cocky twat. Did you not want to say the word superior?
The first time I've had this black body.
Thanks for telling me there, mate. I didn't have eyes myself. There's someone at home going, what? Are you not descended from William the Conqueror? Also, that speaks to what they think of their own canon. Because in actual Doctors, that would be true. But they retconned 2 other ones previously that even they don't consider to be proper Doctors. Oh, the revealed preferences. Your thoughts doth reveal themselves.
Some parts of the earth are now treated differently.
Like here, right? That's what you mean. The whole episode seems to be the people in Nigeria are racist. His story is, I go to Nigeria to be with people that look like me, but the problem's everybody else.
But here, in Africa, in that barbershop, I'm accepted.
See?
And deal with the bribery, fraud, scams, too expensive, not having no snacks.
People treat me differently, but I prefer to spend time around my own kind. The revealed preference is like, look, when I evolved into this, I instantly became racist. It was wild. I was like, I've got to go back to the homeland. He looked around England and thought, I can't stand any of you people. I'm leaving.
I'm able to forget.
For once, I can forget the English exists.
They
Treat you like one of their own.
Why would they do that? The revealed preference. All these people treat me differently, but not here, where they treat me differently, like one of their own. Oh, you racist prick satire. Absolutely wild, this scene.
Yeah.
Oh. Ncuti likes going back to his homeland. I mean, this was filmed just outside Cardiff. Never mind. He likes going back to his homeland so he can be surrounded by his own people. Because they're just nicer. Everything's so much better over there. It's all wonderful. Still gonna live in London though, isn't it? I really wish I was over there. I'm living in London though. It's an odd choice that you made in London, but that is where you chose to be on the planet.
My nan took me to India whenever she could for the same reason.
Because it makes you feel whole and comforted to be around your own people. So much so that you're desperate to go back there because it feels like that's the place you should be. Still decide to live in London. I can't understand why all these people treat me differently. You know what? I really enjoy going back and being around my own people. Maybe they treat you differently because you don't see them as your own people.
Say you're not human, but that's the most human thing ever, Doctor.
What? The most human thing is to want to be surrounded by your own kind. The BBC.
Go on then. Take as long as you need.
I understand that normally you're surrounded by all those people that you absolutely can't stand because they don't look like you. So go out and recharge your batteries in Wakanda. That might be the first time he's ever touched a woman. He's going to have to get used to it over there, I tell you. He's not going to have much choice. So, as he enters Wakanda, where they would definitely throw him off a roof, everything's wonderful. It's all clean. There's lots of food all over the place. We found that out at the start of the video.
Too expensive, not having no snacks, not having no food, electricity.
But now everyone's wonderful. They've all got brand new clothes on. Bananas, fresh fruit, veg. There doesn't seem to be much meat there. And there's not a fly in sight.
It's gonna look so nice in here.
Can compliment women. He's got to, you see. He's got to keep his cover up. If the police find out he's not interested, he's going off a roof. Yeah, hook as many of them as possible, mate. You've got to keep up the disguise. The TARDIS had to disguise itself as a blue police box. But in this country, you're going to have to disguise yourself as a straight bloke. Do you want these Does he look like somebody that wears a tie? Does anyone here look like they wear a tie? I'm surprised that guy can afford to eat. How many suits do you see?
Yeah, brother.
But he knows everybody. It's amazing. He's never been this happy. You saw his reaction when he landed in London.
Definitely London.
Now, to be fair, I understand. It is London. But I'm just happy he can enjoy himself. Now he can let go of all his racism. Yeah, my brother. You're not like those scum in that country I decide to live in. It's no wonder he's happy. He hasn't even been subjected to a scam yet.
Robbery, fraud, scams, not having no snacks.
Although I don't know if that shop in the background's legit. He decides to go down a barber shop, though, down a really dark alley. Don't worry, it's something Ncuti's used to. Where he meets his favourite people. Turn back! Underneath there's a sign that says doggers only. Gotta go investigate that then. There's lots of missing people on the walls, and he finds the barber shop. Now, personally, you wouldn't catch me dead inside there. Or rather, I think you would probably catch me dead inside there. It looks like the front door of Sweeney Todd. First thing you get offered in there is a cutthroat razor shave. It looks like the window's covered in blood. Do you think he always scans his barbershop with his sonic screwdriver before he goes in?
The tortoise has a cracked shell.
We don't find out why. I'm going to assume he played football with it. The doctor, though, enters, and this is going to be a running plot hole. If you're in a locked room with a door that only opens from the outside and somebody walks in, what would be the first thing that you'd say? Don't let the door close!
Hey,
No one said anything. You think they'd have better reaction speeds dodging the machetes. As soon as the door closes, though, Belinda's in pain. Don't worry, it never explains why. As such, I'm going to assume the TARDIS started playing Kanye West's new album through the speakers. If you don't get that, you're going to have to do your own research. Over in the barbershop, though, he knows the doctor really well.
told you he would come.
Ah, he's like a snail. He doesn't go anywhere without leaving a sticky residue behind him.
You ruined the end now.
You ruined the end? We heard the end.
Why the tortoise has a cracked shell.
That's the pissing end of the story. Not my fault you're not Shakespeare. Don't worry, no one expects you to be. Doctor realizes, though, everyone in the bar is on the missing posters. I'm surprised he could even recognize them. I mean, they all look the same.
They're on the walls outside. Rashid, Tunde, Obioma.
Remember when he said he wanted the barbershop to represent the diversity in Nigeria? Well, nailed it.
Doctor, you haven't come in years.
I thought you knew him. He's probably got an automated machine under his trousers.
And standards have slipped.
Normally I'm a horn dog, but now my standards have slipped, afraid.
Damp and misty outside, dusty in here.
And that's just your hairstyles. He says, though, this isn't even mine anymore, under new management. Welcome to the villain, who's not really a villain, because that would mean we'd have to make him bad. And we can't do that. He's a tick box, you see. He's not really a person. When you think of the BBC, you have to think of him more as a category.
Welcome to my establishment.
I'm not sure whether he's trying to be a hairdresser or a magician.
Establishment. Why is the street deserted?
Why is a barber responsible for the population of the road outside? Never actually explains why the road outside is empty either. There are those missing people, but there's only 4 of them after years. So it's not as if that would have even affected the street outside.
Why isn't Obioma leaving?
Maybe he wants a refund for that trim. He says, though, that no one can. I mean, look at that guy's hair. He looks like he's been sticking a fork in a plug socket. It looks like Krusty the Clown had a baby with Ronald McDonald. He looks like he styled himself on a Q-tip. They're called cotton buds in the UK, which is even more wild.
All-knowing doctor who is supposed to save us and don't know anything.
True, but that was the previous doctor. This one is, well, he's a mentally deficient retard. He doesn't save anybody. He should know better than to come here, where they'd throw him off a roof. But he's like, look, you don't need appointments for this hairdresser, and besides...
Appointments never work in Africa. What are you
Sounds like a great place, doesn't it?
talking about? It doesn't work in Africa.
So they start having a fight, like it's a mostly peaceful barbershop, and an alarm goes off. They're like, look, we need somebody to get their hair cut to feed the engine. At this moment, we find out where the budget for this episode went. What the hell is going on? Is that the only place his hair grows that fast? I need to know. He doesn't even need a chair, he just compacts his own bush.
We're running out of stories. Look at his hair.
I know, it's awful. This guy goes down and decides he's got one more story in him. There was a shaman collecting music.
Completely different song.
I'm definitely gonna need subtitles for this. He starts waffling on about absolutely nothing. Oh, I'm writing songs down. The first time there was an antelope. Then the plants were gone. The antelope disappeared. Or, as he says,
Mounts are gone. Antelope disappear.
Antelope disappear. I've not read enough BBC Pidgin for this show. The song changed. Before, music was a live ting. Am I going to have to show you that so I don't get arrested for a hate crime?
In the old days, music was a live thing.
I'm not taking the piss out of him. He's genuinely that retarded. But after the Industrial Revolution, loads of other people started making music. Or, as he called it,
producing identical things.
Identical things. They're producing the identical things.
That is why we say we will come at 1, but won't arrive till 3.
Right. I thought it was because you were a lazy twat. No, the reason that they don't get any work done and can't actually keep their word at turning up on time is because a shaman wrote some music and then there was an industrial revolution and then people started making tings. This should tell you the quality of this episode. We're making tings, man.
Appointments? Bad idea.
We lazy twat. In the background, the light turns from red to green. Nobody knows why they should care. Nobody keeps it on red. All our story is amazing, man. Doctor, though, he's having the time of his life. This is incredible. He holds a really awful story. The drawings appear on the screen.
Dalek, Cybermen, Weeping Angels.
Yeah, they all would have been better stories than this twaddle, wouldn't they? They say, though, you must tell a story, Doctor. You must feed it.
It is always hungry.
It is like Lizzo. This guy's hair's already grown back. I mean, I've heard of a bowl cut, but that looks like somebody shaved his head inside a motorbike helmet. At that moment, though, the door opens. No one says, keep the door open, that way we can all leave. Even the Doctor had a 7-second reaction time and still didn't think about saying it. Meanwhile, Belinda in the TARDIS is still being subjected to yay tracks. She's not having fun. Either that or she's headbanging, I can't tell. Don't repeat the lyrics, Belinda. I'll have to cut it.
Are we under attack?
Don't randomly press buttons in the TARDIS. You might end up at the end of the universe, you silly bid.
Hello?
Thank you again, Abby.
So they're thanking her, even though she's one of their kidnappers? Not even joking. I can only imagine this is Stockholm Syndrome, or like whatever Africa is.
Every day she brings us food. We'd be lost without her.
How easily pleased are you? It's like, well, yes, they did kidnap us and then keep us feeding stories into this machine where we're scared of a red light on the wall and we might die. At least she brings us burgers, though. She's not all bad. A whole new light to this sentence, doesn't it?
Trying to make her really insufferable, but like a real person.
I tell you what, the acolyte was right.
But there's something dangerous about those women.
The Doctor, though, he's like, I swear I've seen you before. I don't come into contact with many women. And to be honest, you all kind of look the same to me.
Why do I know your face?
Are you one of the 3 I've ever met in my life? They even start giving her jewellery like she's some kind of queen. Which is weird, because there is a queen in this room, but she's not it. Ugh, what an uncouth lout. The rest of the men, though, start kicking off. We know what you are, intergalactic busybody Time Lord. Luckily, they don't know what he's attracted to. Otherwise, they'd throw him off a roof themselves. So it's particularly weird that the BBC would choose this place specifically to be like, you know where's the best place in the world? Where he feels right at home. Places where they'd throw him off a roof. Maybe he just likes the danger, I don't know. This does explain why he's got to be undercover, though, and pretend he's really interested in her. I swear I've seen you somewhere before. Maybe it was at a wedding, because otherwise they'd spend 14 years in prison and be subjected to violence. Also, whatever you do, don't ask why the Doctor doesn't wear a dress in this one. That incorrigible vagabond. He can even legally be discriminated against and harassed. They'll even arrest entire hotels on suspicion of it. And whatever you do, don't conspire to attend a wedding. Don't worry, Doctor, if I were you, I'd be pretending I was interested in that as well.
You told them, Obo. How could I not?
Oh no, what did you tell him, Obo? You didn't tell him everything about me, surely, Obo?
I spent a long, hot summer with Harry Houdini. I just got snowman, and I would like to go home.
But why do I know her face, Abby?
It's weird, because when I come over here, I don't normally see their faces. They're normally pointing away from me at the time. Don't know way I can get through it.
They both used to work for her father, but he was mean, so they left.
I tell you what, that is a piece of English literature prose. That is On par with the bard himself. You know, they both used to work for her father, but then he was mean, so she left. That's on par with 50 Shades of Grey, which has lines like, he picks up the red cup off the table. Dazzling prose.
And they're keeping you here.
See, even he's amazed. It's like, why on earth are you celebrating her? She kidnapped you silly bits. Now the doctor finds out that this barbershop is basically a spaceship. They're traveling to the destination, and the stories feed it. That's like its fuel. He took over the barbershop from its previous owner by just giving him a haircut. And looking at him, you can understand why he's got a face like a slapped arse. He looks like Elsa Frankenteen from Scooby-Doo. Now, the reasoning behind how he transformed the store into a interdimensional spaceship is, well, it's complicated.
Currents just ran through the whole shop. Like magic.
It's magic. It's like describing the scriptwriter. It just wrote the words like a retard. Although you do find out that everyone in this store, it was their own pissing fault.
Tried to stop my clients. They pushed in.
Yeah, they just broke the law and assaulted him. That's how Ncuti feels so at home in this place, doesn't he?
I'd rather go back to America and deal with the racism and deal with the bribery, fraud, scams, not having no snacks.
It's my favourite place. People just break into it against the wishes of the owner.
They're kids. They're like sons to me.
They're like sons to you. Why they're breaking into your pissing house, criminal scum. So immediately we establish everyone in this building is just getting what they deserve. He went, don't come in, they came in anyway. We're hoping for a high body count in this one. I want a body count so high you're going to think this is the whatever podcast. So then we go through a scene where they just tell us why they all wanted a haircut. I wish I was joking.
I came to get a trim for my child's naming ceremony. Came to get a cut for the championship. Omo was lending me money for her medicine. Wanted a fresh cut. See.
That guy's the biggest idiot. I'm borrowing money for medicine. I'm going to waste more having a haircut. Bet that guy's great with his credit card debt.
We both came to the city together. I spent most of my time in here. Had enough with her.
Ungrateful cow. Wanted to spend his money, but didn't want him to go out and earn it. The alarms go off, though, and the doctor wants to tell his own story. Will it be about the Daleks, the Cybermen, the Silence? I'm sure he's got a lot of good stories to choose from. Oh, I think he's just had a crisis.
Weeping angels and ice warriors, but nothing is more vivid than an ordinary life.
He's not very smart, this doctor, is he? Yeah, I want Cybermen. That'd be cool. But this is like when he went, you know why your mum was special? Because she was a nobody, an absolutely useless tart. Never did anything in her life. What a completely useless slob. That's what made her really special. I don't understand why you like this barbershop. So he decides to tell a story about Belinda and the NHS. It's very unrealistic because it wasn't, well, she got put on a waiting list for 18 months and then died.
His pictures are alive.
It's because it's cheaper, mate. After the 13-hour shift, though, she's going home. The doctor has diagnosed her. We need bloods, we need this, we need that. But don't worry, Belinda, the nurse. Someone, if I needed advice on what comb to use in a weave, I'm sure she'd be a font of useful information. But when it comes to the diagnosis of medicine, she's just not qualified.
Maybe gastroenteritis.
Have you considered steroids?
The person in front of you is dying. Now is not the time to talk about his workout routine. Have you ever considered shrinking your testicles?
For a chest infection.
No, her fingers. She's got rheumatoid arthritis.
Because this man, although he is a tick box, he is still just a man, and she has the power of feeling it in her waters. It's either a yeast infection or woman's intuition.
Here, hyperpigmentation.
No, it's too subtle. It's barely there.
Yeah, it's just that he can't see it, but she's got special eyes. She's got fallopian tubes. She's used to seeing things which aren't there.
An Addisonian crisis can present like this. It happened to my nan.
It happened to my nan. Look, it's the medical information I have from my own lived experience. The most powerful of medical diagnostic tricks. Just have every single disease in the world, and then from your lived experience, you'll be unstoppable.
Without steroids, she could die.
With steroids, she's going to be jacked as hell. Going to come out of that hospital looking like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
You're right.
So before it wasn't there, and then she just goes, my lived experience. And you're like, oh my God, I bow down to the ovaries.
It's yours.
It's my nan's birthday.
So, that woman's dying. This is the most unbelievable part of the entire thing. After a 13-hour shift, she would have been out the door. The guy would have, hey, no, gone. There is absolutely no way she's staying and doing overtime. We're lucky she's not already back in India. But the doctor lies and goes, no, she definitely stayed there and looked after him because there's nobody else working in the hospital that could have done it. Bro, why are you watching the story? You're supposed to be cutting his hair.
She guarded a frail life.
Guarded? From what, the NHS? Oh, you're costing us too money. Quick, cut the power.
Sacrificing her own joy.
Joy again. Every episode.
My mum was right, wasn't she? I'm Joy!
We're lucky Joy wasn't in this room. She probably would have eaten the patient. His story is so powerful, though, about an absolutely useless everyday occurrence, which isn't an interesting story at all, that for some reason the spaceship speeds up. and gets more power. Turns out the best stories are the most boring ones, and when you realise that's the message, you can understand why he wrote this episode. But then, as they made Ncuti go bald, Belinda was leaving 2 weeks later, met Mrs. Flood, who nobody cares about, and met the woman she'd saved, who goes, thank you, I'm so glad we imported so many of you to save the NHS. And she handed her a card that said, congratulations on swallowing the propaganda.
Wow, I know what you did for me.
You stood there with a spoon and some pans and started hitting, and then the air was like, we need to save them. They deserve a raise.
The doctors took over. You saved my life.
Who needs doctors when you can have people that don't even like the nation and just want to go home? Thank you for the sacrifice of having to save the lives of people you can't stand. She's like, oh, I'm gonna have to have a shower afterwards. No wonder she's crying. And he's almost crying as well. The light goes green because we can't have it go red. We really needed an English person in this episode to blame it all on. We could have found out what happened to the red light. Although, to be fair, I doubt this is the first time that Ncuti Gatwa's played red light, green light in public.
You're sure that this doctor will come?
Yes, he always comes when needed.
The problem is, this barber is not very good. I mean...
What's happening?
Immediately his hair grows back. I imagine underneath his trousers, if you open that, it'd look like a Japanese adult movie. Like the strands just start taking on a life of their own. His stories are so powerful though, he could superpower the engine. We can get there in record time. Then the woman that also please kidnap them is like, yeah, this is gonna be amazing.
Look how much his hair has grown. You can let us go now.
See? Like, oh, I really like this place. It's full of my own people.
Robbery, fraud, scams, not having no snacks.
And they've just proved it. More than happy to sell their own into slavery so they can escape. The issue is his stories are so powerful it may have done structural damage to the ship, and so he goes off to check it and do minor repairs. Wait, what? Did she just lock the door? You telling me all this time they could have just walked out the front door because she forgot to lock it? This doctor's an idiot. Kanye, stop it! She cannot handle the tweets, Captain.
Orders, locate origin, no source!
She's not screaming at the TARDIS though, because, you know, look, she's insufferable, what can I say?
Trying to make her really insufferable, but like a real person.
And it shows her the barbershop. How she knows from this picture how to get there, I don't know. They don't know. They didn't think about it. But she does go outside and try and find it. She doesn't have the same wonderful experience that Ncuti Gatwa did. That's because, well, not from the same place. These aren't her people. That would explain this expression. Ooh, whoa, whoa, what has the cat dragged in, you dirty bint? Ugh. Even the one at the back is like, I don't know why we allow you here in Cardiff. Eventually, though, she gets through the market without being attacked.
Robbery, fraud, scams.
Although she does get scammed. She knocks over this. She's like, you've got to pay. It's like, I don't have any money.
Money.
Oh, it causes the trouble. I think that's what she said. I don't know. It's good to see their police are just on point, though. They're everywhere.
Malnourished cows.
If only we could have such targeted policing in London, it'd probably be a much better place. Oh, is that a self-insert? It's a self-insert.
Madam, you must pay for this,
It just goes to show we need severe policing. A lot more than a stern stare. Can't you see? I'm really angry. I'm in school.
You planned this, Omo.
The doctor's getting pissed, though. He's betrayed. You planned this? I thought I was safe in here. I thought this was the one place in the country where I wouldn't get thrown off a roof.
Because I have no home, I'm Bob. I'm expendable.
In that country, you are expendable. Yet your existence is against the law. And we've just seen how the law treat people.
I love this shop.
Even I'm kind of sorry about that pause. It looks like you just have to bite his neck out.
I loved you.
You can't do that. That's illegal over there. He'll throw you off a roof himself.
I thought it was a home for me.
How could it be? How could it be your home when you are illegal?
I was safe.
What? They arrest you for existing? Oh, we've got a cry. The cry rate has continued, folks. Oh, it makes you proud to be British, doesn't it? He's cried in every episode. This is true masculinity. I've wiped my tears away because I'm a little girl.
Do not talk to me.
So now he's really pissed off. He has a reaction like a catty ex.
I trusted you with both of my hearts, with everything that I am.
I even bought you some sausages from down the market.
How could you?
How very dare you?
How very dare you?
I come here to have a haircut, and you accused me of hiding the sausage?
Just because a man Where's a little bit of foundation? They accuse him of hiding the sausage.
So he uses his sonic screwdriver to open the door and everyone else backs up. They're like, this guy's an idiot. He's going to get us all killed. That's what we were intending. We called the police 15 minutes ago. And after they've warned him that we are traveling through space, I mean, he's too thick to realize. I did briefly hope that everyone in this room would die as the oxygen was sucked out. No. Nothing really happens. He's just there on the doorway holding on. And the main part about it is that he just speaks for the audience. We call this the consequences of your own actions. I understand you've lived a privileged life, you've never had to face them before, but there's a first time for everything. And this might be the first time you've been in a country where you're not treated like you're a special little snowflake. So he looks down and realizes I'm on a spider, and the spider is walking on a web. I'm not even going to spoil it for you because the reveal is even worse. You need to be hit in the face with the true power of cringe. Why did we make the spaceship a spider? Nobody knows. It's never explained. Don't think about it. The writer didn't. He's not smart enough. The doctor, though, eventually pulls himself back in, closes the door, and everything resets as if it never happened, with no one being injured because they like these people.
Goodbye, Alan.
We're not going to injure our preferred group. That would be a hate crime. Back with Belinda now. She's finally found the dark alley she wants to walk down. She gets jump scared by a girl. Could have been worse. She's like, oh my god, that's a baby. That's a tool of the patriarchy used to oppress me. I'm surprised she didn't drop kick it into a wall. Luckily, it runs away before she gets the opportunity.
Shaw is in outer space and in Lagos at the same time.
Are we going to explain how? No, it's like, we're not even going to go wibbly wobbly, timey-wimey. No. It just exists.
How?
Magic. But when I was out there, I saw a structure.
I saw the Nexus. I used to call it the World Wide Web.
Now, you may think that him calling a spider's web the World Wide Web that it travels along is as cringe as this can get. But in terms of sort of peak cringe distinction, this is like Pete Davidson sleeping with Kate Beckinsale. We're not even remotely the same league.
Until the humans name something far uglier after that.
The ugly internet. Full of those disgusting commoners with their opinions. We get what you're trying to say, BBC. Sledgehammer us in the face with it. But he says only me and her can get through the doorframe. Everyone else, they get ejected into space. And finally, the doctor asks an important question.
Where are we going? You'll find out soon enough.
Unfortunately, the writer hadn't yet thought of an answer, nor is it ever explained in the entire episode. You don't need to know. It's magic. Now, at this moment, Belinda enters, and you already know what's not going to happen.
Doctor.
Nobody tells her to keep the door open, you silly tart. I'm trapped in here. Don't close the door. Don't close the door. No, instead, do you want to know what the doctor's reaction is?
It took you long enough.
I'm so glad you've come here and you've been kidnapped with me in an alien spaceship when you were safe out... sorry, not going to be safe outside.
Robbery, fraud, scams, sheeps, not having no snacks, malnourished cows.
Maybe it was like, I'm so glad you survived the gauntlet of going through that marketplace. You had like a 1 in 100 chance of making it. But thankfully, you've now been kidnapped by aliens out of that nation and you're in a safer place. I don't believe that either. I mean, if she can survive London, she can survive anywhere. For some reason, though, the cat claws come out. Oh, are you the nurse from his story?
Your companion?
Look, I don't know why you're looking her up and down like that. Cutie isn't interested. He's just faking it to try and survive the country.
Did he leave you behind? Tell you to wait? No. I told him to go, actually.
Didn't take much convincing, though, did he? You should leave me behind. Yes. Yes, I should. Remember, this is a guy who went for a haircut who didn't even need one. The doctor, though, wants to finally work out who they are. You've been giving people awful haircuts, and they're all scared of you.
He hides his identity like a coward, a troll on the web.
We're back with that sledgehammer to the face again, aren't we? He's just a troll on the World Wide Web. He won't tell anyone his name, says the doctor. What a coward the doctor is, not telling anyone his name. In fact, in a previous episode, when he was told it, he cried.
He knows my name.
But that's not a surprise. He cries all the time. What an absolute puss. Getting called a coward by the doctor is like seeing a gynecologist walk around a fish market. Really is a busman's holiday.
Don't be scared. Don't be scared.
I'm pretty sure even saying the sentence that way is illegal over there. You incorrigible vagabond.
We will live here.
I'm assuming that's a reference to something irrelevant.
There is nothing that he can do.
He has no real power.
Well, you don't know. There's a red light on that wall that I would love to know what it does, but the writer's too thick to explain it. But he says, you want to know who I am? I am all of these things.
I go by many names.
It's not intimidating when you're like, I've got some shears.
The man spider, goddess, Bastet, Dionysus, even Loki.
What? He's essentially said, I am a man, I am a woman, and I look like everything. And you're like, press X to doubt, folks.
I have been them all.
But he's like, I am them all. Throughout all of that time, the scariest thing I have ever seen is this man's hair. It looks like he's been attaching a small woodland creature to his face. It looks like he's stuck his head in a vacuum cleaner bag. It looks like his hair is made up of TV static. As I have been in many cultures, in many worlds, in many incarnations. It's like, oh, it's the old thing. All gods are the same. That's not true, is it? No. There is nothing Norse about you.
What is it that you do?
I begin all things.
Look, she's almost had a little cry because a man shouted at her. So then he starts to cut his own hair off so he can tell the story of his life. I am the voice in the empty void. I am the name in the dark. I am the seed of creation. I am the lie that tells the truth.
The lie that tells the truth. The well of words. The jelly before.
It's basically a load of twaddle that a poet thinks is interesting because he's too thick to understand what he's writing himself. And he thinks that if you don't understand it, you'll think it's complicated and deep, whereas if you actually do understand it, you can just see it as the twaddle it is.
The tall tale itself.
And he's supposed to be intimidated with I am the tall tale itself. Tall tale is a lie. I am the lie itself. So it's not really a surprise when the doctor goes, yeah, no one believes him. It may have something to do with the fact they went, I am lying. Yeah, we just took you at your word, mate. So the doctor starts laughing. She starts laughing because, well, she doesn't know. She has no reason to know. And then this guy also he doesn't know why he's laughing either.
What's so funny?
Why are you laughing? I don't know. I'm too thick to know what my own actions are. I'm just here in this country. I'm going to throw him off a roof. Now they're laughing and they don't understand. This is the only sane person in this pissing room.
He's lying to you.
Yeah, I mean, the main clue for that is when he went, I am the tall tale itself.
The tall tale itself. The lie that tells the truth.
He's lying to you.
I am a lie. That was also something he said.
He's lying.
So he's like, well, I met Dionysus.
Drank so much wine we caused a drought.
Well, a drought would be water, not wine. But the story's believable because all his prior incarnations have been like British, and the English could definitely put it away. And if he's Scottish, well.
Daga and I watched Marvel movies up until Endgame.
It's a good place to stop. In fact, I would have stopped before Endgame. But it is funny that the BBC are going, yeah, Marvel was crap after Endgame. They do pay our bills around here, but those movies were trash, weren't they?
Like Thor, muscles were too small.
And CGI. But he played chess with others.
And Nancy purposely lost the bet to make me marry one of his daughters.
Which I think was her. You can understand why he purposely lost the bet. Imagine winning a bet and getting the booby prize. Now, what I've always wanted to do is marry an alien that kidnaps men in a barber shop. That's my idea of a perfect wife. Also, it's cute. Can you imagine, like, seriously, it's his idea of hell. He'd be like, ugh, it's a bacterial swamp. And instead, he wants him to tell the truth. Who are you, actually? You're not those gods.
Who are you?
Stuart.
Then you did too?
He's very smart. I really appreciate the Doctor's strategy and tactics of every episode just walk up to the villain and going, I want to know everything about you. Tell me.
I was the one behind them all.
And they just do. He says, I was not the gods, but I was the one that made them. I took their stories and wrote them down. I delivered them to schools. I spread the word of their name to people. He was basically a librarian.
I told them myths, cleaned them up, printed them in books.
He just told stories about them and printed them in books. And he's like, oh, but I am the reason they exist. I am their true power. I am the one that created them. He's just like Orbit. This is like a book publisher going up to Brandon Sanderson and going, I made you.
That was my job. They only exist now because of me.
What an egotistical twat. Like, he's still lying. He didn't make anything. But he built the Nexus to connect all these things together, all the places where they told stories. Connections between ideas and concepts. So he took a strand of the god's blood and turned it into string into a web, and then the gods took that and expanded it. He says, though, he started small, a pub lit by candles. Didn't that happen last week when the power went out in that pub? A Catholic church confession box, where Ruby Sunday was left with the goblins.
A coal-powered theatre.
A coal-powered theatre? Isn't that where they met the animated god?
An electric cinema.
A space opera.
And a space opera, like Space Babies. I think it's essentially tying the series together, and it's just going, well, his string tied them together, which is why the Doctor's been going and ping-ponging along all of those strands.
And all I wanted was to be recognized. They told me that I should know my place.
Based. They're gods, you're a servant. Get over yourself. But I just want to be recognized and told how amazing I am and turned into a god. No. No. We told you no and you ran off like a child, you insufferable bitch. As though I made the Nexus so well it didn't even need me anymore.
I should know my place.
All he took was the story engine, and now they're going back to have vengeance. And as you can see, he's giving himself a great haircut.
Vengeance.
Absolutely amazing hair there. The problem is the power in the spider cuts out. It ran out of energy when he opened the door and he just burned too much.
Typical Doctor. Irresponsible.
You can talk when you're spoken to, love. Nobody cares.
I should know my place.
Like, hang on, I recognize you finally. You're the daughter of a Nancy. She says, I grew up terrified someone would win me in a bet. And then you came along and lost the bet, and for some reason I blame you for it, even though I didn't want to be won.
I had faith you would help. Instead, you left me.
Just said you didn't want to be won in a bet, and then he lost the bet, and now you're angry at him. Make up your pissing mind.
I'm here because of you.
You're here because you chose to be, because you wanted to kidnap strangers, you evil tart. I'm sorry I couldn't take you with me. And we go back to the fake doctor, the one who isn't actually a doctor, but we keep getting told they are. It's the cultural appropriation doctor. She's pretending to be English.
I was a fugitive back then.
You said it, not me. I'm not even sure I can legally touch that with a barge pole.
And frankly, darling, I was busy in a different story.
And you're glad she wasn't the doctor. She's like, frankly, darling, I don't care if you all die. Don't you understand I'm being a criminal? That's what I'm good at.
That might be finished one day.
It's never going to be finished. You're never going to get your own story. You're never going to get your own spin-off. You're never going to get viewers, just so we're all aware. She says, though, we're going to the heart of the Nexus to install him as storytelling supreme.
That is what he's told you. That he's going to become everything that he hates.
Why not? You did. You kept moaning about how the English treat you differently. You've done multiple episodes about how horrible the English are, and then at the first opportunity, you run away into Nigeria and start talking about how you're finally home among your own people.
And you believe him?
He would not lie to me.
See, we've got two problems, because we've got two villains. So, the first one, we're gonna have to make her sympathetic by making him out to be an arsehole. But then we're gonna have to make him sympathetic afterwards, because neither of these two people are allowed to be evil under the BBC guidelines. It's like, no, we worship you. You can only ever be good.
I know vengeance, and I can taste his.
That sounds spicy. How would you describe vengeance to me?
Bile black and bitter.
Are we sure Russell T Davies signed off on this script? But he's got an idea of how he can make the evil mastermind spill his master plan. And you'll never guess how intellectual, how inspirational, how 50 million IQ this is. Because you may think that this script was written by somebody with 65. I can disprove that in one statement.
I'm trapped here. Tell me.
At the nuance, the depth. You've got a master plan! Why don't you tell me what it is? The script is written by a 3-year-old.
Tell me! For cut them out of...
He wasn't going to tell you first, but now you've screamed at him, he's just going to spill everything, isn't he? He says, I will strip the gods from memory, I will strip them from humanity. And without all of the belief, they will be nothing.
Destroy. As in kill. Die. Dead. As a doornail.
Now you can tell he's a poet. I mean, ooh, that's a mighty thesaurus he's got there.
Done! All the gods gone! What, Captain Hollister?
Everybody's dead, Dave.
Everybody, they're all dead, Dave. Everybody.
That would destroy your father.
Not his father.
What, Selby? They're all dead. Everybody's dead, Dave.
Not Anubis.
He's dead, Dave. Everybody is dead. Everybody is dead, Dave.
This is my gift to you.
So he says, no, this was my gift to you, to murder your father, isn't that what you want? But Cutie, he's upset. The humans are tied to the gods. Take out the gods, you will harm their souls. I mean, yes, I was previously saying how I can't stand them, those racist bigots, and it's only over here where I can feel safe, but now I care for them once more.
A world without stories? How would they pass on tradition?
Yes, the floor is here. The BBC hates tradition. Russell T Davies hates tradition. He's progressive. A progressive believes that tradition is evil and you have to leave it behind because everyone behind you was evil. We're going to march into the future towards scum and villainy, death and destruction and pain. That's what moral people do.
This is what you want, Abina.
But she's like, I never knew I was going to be evil when I kidnapped people. But Belinda, she's got 5 IQ and she's not afraid to show it.
Hurt people. Hurt people.
Water is water. It's not even true, by the way. Hurt people hurt. It's not true. Evil people hurt people. Scum, villainy, and criminals hurt people.
Robbery, fraud, scams, not having no snacks.
Progressives hurt people.
The difference between good and evil is what we do with our pain.
No.
Trying to make her really insufferable, but like a real person.
Your pain is irrelevant, your feelings are irrelevant, it's your actions and your morals that matter, you filth. No, we've all been hurt, and if you're evil, you're just lashing out because you were hurt. No, because they enjoy it, because they want to, because they get a kick out of it. It's got nothing to do with their background, everyone isn't equal. They're not just an empty page which has no predetermined behaviors, and it's only their upbringing that made them be evil filth. That's not how it works. She's kidnapped people, punish her, throw her out an airlock into space, and then watch her explode.
I should know my place.
But all the people turn on the doctor. I'm gonna make you sit down in this chair and tell a story. Everyone betrays him, they're all forcing him down because the doctor is a weak bit and two people could just overwhelm him. He's been skipping every day.
I am an evolved life form.
He has no muscles anymore. He's like, hang on, hurt people, hurt people. Somebody said a load of nonsense to me and now I'm a good guy. Stop! I've got a clunge, I can't be evil. Because now I will cut his hair. I will take his story.
Please, Doctor. Trust me.
Like, hang on. I know you're evil and you've kidnapped all these people. I know you wanted me to suffer and you wanted to kill all the gods, but now I've read the script and I think you've changed. For absolutely no reason whatsoever. And so he sits down and we get an even more nonsensical story than previously.
Of slavery and deep suffering.
Yes. Brought on by themselves. I'm not sure this is a topic that you really researched before you, put this in here.
The slaves who broke their chains.
Which ones? From where? Which period of the long history of your nation are we talking about? Wait, what do I mean, her nation? She's a pissing alien. Why does she even care about this at all? This is like me doing a speech about the Borg.
Would return to try to free others.
Why? They'll just get taken by their fellow countrymen and sold again.
Slaves were not allowed to carry paper.
Also, I imagine very expensive in the time.
They were always stopped and searched.
What did the people that stopped them and searched them look like?
But the women were very clever.
Oh, come on. You at least make the story believable. She tells a story, though, about how they came up with braids, and in the braids, they would draw maps that would lead people to... I don't know.
So the women would weave maps into their hair.
To where?
Mothers to daughters, slave to slave.
I guess the men can just go f*** themselves, right? No, we're only saving the tubes here.
So they shared roots like this and escaped to freedom.
This is literally two aliens talking about a country that neither of them belong to, as if it's really important and vital to them. And I'm just wondering, like, what exactly they're talking about. Because if you look this up, exaggerated is probably about as complimentary as you can get. It long preceded the arrival of any European influence and continued long after the Europeans actually abolished it. It was their own country that sold their own people to the Europeans. And even after the British came along and went, look, you're not doing that. We're going to stop you. I know you think this is important to your nation, but we are going to force you to end this. They just continued it anyway for over 50 years, only completely ending it in the 40s. But go off, Queen. We get some more stories about how you outsmarted your own people. Is this why this story doesn't have an associated image next to it? Because it would have some rather uncomfortable truths. But she braided his hair very quickly into a map. Now, this is the doctor. You'd expect him to just go and know the map. But he gets a little bit distracted.
You look good.
So good, I could kiss myself.
Most believable part of the episode. Pretty sure you'd still get chucked off a roof for doing that, though. But he opens the back door with a sonic screwdriver and uses the map that she's braided into his hair to go. And he can only read it one finger at a time. Doesn't want to rush himself. Never want to use too many fingers too quickly. He's got to warm up the map first.
Let's concentrate.
It's like, hang on, let me just stroke my hair a bit. The doctor should just be able to go like that and immediately know the entire map. But no. This doctor, well, he's just not as smart as all the other doctors that have preceded him, is he? That's what we've learned over 2 series. Eventually, though, he runs through the corridors and finds the central location. It's a big ship, you've got to admit.
You did this. I'm revoking your access.
Yes, she's on the good guy team now. Forget that she's been kidnapping random strangers and holding them hostage in a building against their will where they may die. Forget that she's been evil all of this time. No, she braided some hair. She's a good guy now. She can't be evil. She's a tick box.
You lied to me for all these years.
So, you kidnapped people all of these years. I don't care why you thought you were doing it. They find the story engine, though. Open it up. Why did it do that? Nobody knows. It's never explained. Don't worry about it. Our IQ so low, we only live in the moment. We don't actually associate cause and effect and have a coherent timeline. So he opens up the engine and finds a heart.
What else could hold all stories?
A book, an e-reader, some pixels on a screen, a human mind, vocal cords. You know what couldn't hold a story? A beating heart. That pumps blood around your body. It doesn't actually remember anything, you stupid tart. You have the biological know-how of Belinda Chowdhury. The only thing she can diagnose is something she's experienced herself. So they open up the heart. Doctor tells Belinda to start ripping out random wires. She hasn't done that much damage since she attempted to drive the TARDIS. But then, the storyteller arrives.
You have done nothing.
What was the point of those wires? What did she do? Rip out the Spotify connection or something? I said, no, I will still continue. We're on track. I will make the gods shrivel up and die.
You did all this to kill them.
I mean, yeah. Keep up, love. He said it multiple times. The line just before you said that was,
they will shrivel up and die.
And she's like, wait, so you saying you're gonna kill him? This is written by a 3-year-old. But the doctor says, well, you want to hear a story? I can do a story in 6 words. Just 6. Doesn't he look tired? No, it's not that one.
I'm bored. I die. I'm bored.
Not what I expected him to say. I thought he'd say so many species, so little time. But no, this is the story of regeneration. It's an infinite story that goes on forever because we've now forgotten the law that you can only regenerate so many times. So as it's an infinite story, the heart can't handle it. The story's too powerful. It's too boring and crap. And he's like, how can your story give it power? I'm not connected to it. I'm not even doing your hair.
The engine is connected to me.
Yeah, but why though? We're not going to give you an explanation for that. He wasn't even the last person telling the story. The evil kidnapper's wife was, so why is this happening? We don't know. We're not going to explain. Just accept it. We're going to jump on to the next thing to distract you. We're going to remind you of better times where you might have actually liked Doctor Who. There's another doctor, and another one, and another one.
When you fire that first shot, no matter how right you feel.
We're even going to remind you of episodes that you may have liked until...
You have no
yeah, we've had a downgrade here. The ship should have immediately imploded to protect itself.
idea who's going to die.
And then, new Doctor. The ultimate upgrade.
People need help and never refuse.
That's not true. If people need help, I'll never refuse. Unless you tell me you're scared of getting cancer, in which case I'll go, ooh, actually.
The thing is, Doc, I worry about the cancer coming back.
I should say a reassuring thing now, shouldn't I? I'm still quite socially awkward.
I'm a little bit socially awkward, so I'm just going to walk over there. Why don't you go yourself?
My body is like a barber shop, all of them inside.
Most truthful story he's ever told. He does have a lot of men inside him. This is why he couldn't be in this country. He'd get thrown off a roof. That's probably why they had to film it in Cardiff rather than actually travelling over there. And so he overloads the power. We cut back to the spider. We still don't know why that exists. We just know it's a troll on the World Wide Web.
A never-ending story. And gave me never-ending power.
You can only regenerate so many times. This is the law of the Time Lord, you useless twat. But then, for some reason, Belinda, the NHS nurse, who, if ever I needed advice on the best bedpan to buy for home use, I'm sure she'd be a font of useful information. But when it comes to spaceship engineering...
It's taken out a third of the engine. You can't process that power.
You have no idea how much power he can process. He could have a magic Malteser for all you know.
Your engine could overload and explode.
You couldn't fix a Fiat Punto, you silly cow. But he says you will not overload my engine. You wouldn't suck us into space. It's an awkward pause for me to say that line on, I will admit. He says the doctor protects life. That's what I'm doing. I will sacrifice us to save the 7 billion people out there. But I control the engine. If you just open the doors, let everybody out, then we will be safe. And then everybody gets together in quite possibly one of the most dangerous acts you could possibly do in this country. A load of men wrapping their arms around each other.
Because of you.
Putting their heads together. Giving each other forehead bumps.
Do you want that?
And it's like, ooh, this is looking a little bit arrest-worthy, isn't it? If they'd do an entire hotel, they'd definitely stop this. I wonder why Russell T Davies never went over to this country and started doing, like, principal photography, looking for real-world sets over there that you could film in. I think that would have really enhanced the episode. But for absolutely no reason whatsoever, he decides, I'm actually not evil anymore, mate. And he opens the doors, allowing them to escape.
You go, I will be right behind you, yeah?
Yes, you run. Save yourself. I'm gonna stay here.
Okay.
You didn't need to tell her twice. You're gonna die. That's fine. I'm leaving. I'm off. I'm saving myself.
I'll wait for you.
Plot twist, she doesn't wait for him. No, Belinda's only got one message in life. I'm a selfish This is why on the Titanic, when they went women and children first, not a single one turned around and went, no, 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 no. You should take my place. And so everyone leaves.
What would your 6-word story be?
Please cancel Doctor Who. It's shit. That was my first try. I think I did rather well.
What would the essence of your life be?
Certainly wouldn't be this trash, I tell you that for sure. But he says, no, I want you to live long enough to write that 6-word story. Because let's face it, 6 words is about the IQ limit that you're going to ever reach.
Don't let this be how your story ends.
Even Ncuti knows this is an awful way to end an episode.
In a prison cell, boiling in anger and poison till your heart packs in age 49. Don't let this be how your story ends.
And he's like, oh, I'm going to cry as well. We've all got to cry over here because we're strong men and that's what men do. Real men, they become women. Oh, I wanted to be a god, but now I'm just a crying, whiny little bit. But don't worry, we're back with the important person, Belinda. I'll wait for you, Doctor. Don't worry, I'll sacrifice myself to try and save you, I'm sure. Oh no, he's not here. What am I gonna do? I said I'd wait for him. Yeah, screw that. I'm gonna save number 1. And as much as I do despise her being an absolutely selfish git, at least it's in line with the rest of her personality. 100% that is what Belinda would have done. She would sacrifice entire planets to save her own skin. Don't pretend you care about other people now, love. If you cared, you could have gone there and tried to save him. But then as everyone just stands around thinking, I'm glad I'm not in there. Whew, that would have been nasty. They do escape out of... it just looks like fire. I'm amazed either of them survive. He goes to seal the door with a sonic screwdriver, and then things get really weird. Why is the spider trying to climb out of its own arsehole? That doesn't even make any sense. The spider was supposed to be going to the center of the nexus. It was never going to this door. Why is it trying to climb out of this door? How does the outside of the spider even go through the inside of the spider to the outside of your body? Don't think about it. There is no reasoning. It's magic. Don't worry though, it's all magically sealed because a sonic screwdriver happened. And now, surely, we've all got to look at the 2 people that kidnapped us and then hit them in the head with axes. Yeah, we're safe. And where's that axe? The spider blows up back in the Nexus, despite the fact it was at the door, climbing out of its own back passage earlier. We forgot about that though, because we've got a 3-second memory. We paid for a bit of CGI. We're celebrating with our evil kidnappers that wanted to murder us.
Thank you for keeping your promise, Doctor.
I want to note the Doctor didn't save anybody. The villain did. Once again, the Doctor hasn't saved anybody. Somebody else did.
He rescued us, but you kept us alive.
What? She kidnapped you. She kept you in there. She could have let you go at any point. Hit her in the face with an axe. She needs to be held accountable for her actions. Just say she wants a fish course. The government will take care of it themselves. What? I don't even know what you've just done. Wait, now there's 2 of you going down there. Why are we submitting to the evil kidnapper? I am not worthy. Did she break them? This is Stockholm Syndrome. This is a serious medical condition. We must worship evil. We must worship evil. You need to phone the police and say that she's interested in lady parts. The rest will handle itself.
Rise, little brother, run like the wind.
Yeah, run away from that crazy bit. And then we go to the even more evil person than the last one.
All I wanted was to be credited for my work.
No, you didn't. What you wanted was to travel to the center of the gods, kill them all, and take their place as master of the universe. And I just wanted someone to say, that's a nice cup of tea.
I've spent my entire existence serving the gods.
And then you got power hungry and tried to usurp them. Yes, we know. Basic story of an evil villain.
What will I do now?
Hopefully be held accountable for your actions and killed.
What you do best.
Evil. Kidnapping the innocents and bending them to your will.
Keep collecting stories. Start your own barbershop.
This is the worst ending of a story ever. The Doctor's punishment for being an evil, power-hungry lunatic, which is going to wipe out humanity and slaughter all the gods so that he can rule the universe, is, why don't you just start a barbershop? I know you wanted to rule all of existence, but have you ever considered cutting hair? I mean, look at this guy. He needs it. It looks like someone's dragged him through a crawl space backwards. But he says to the Doctor, I thought you could handle anything, and I was right.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry too.
You shouldn't be sorry, you should be better. Held accountable for his actions. At least blow up the barbershop. You can cut hair out in the street where you belong. That truly is an awful hairstyle, isn't it? What was that? Is that how they shake hands at the BBC? Signal that you're part of the network. Please, sir, don't kidnap me. I'm one of you guys. And then he looks down at the evil god murderer who lacks a soul. And he's like, why don't you come and cut hair with me? I know you wanted to wipe out the universe, but I've got a pair of scissors. And you know the BBC loves scissors.
I told the settler continue.
I have no idea what he just said.
I told the settler continue.
No idea. I need the TARDIS to translate foreign languages for me.
I don't belong here.
True. You're not even human.
I don't even have a name for people to trust.
How about Dave?
Try Adetokumba.
I'm sorry.
Adetokumba.
Or Dave. At least people will be able to pronounce it in Cardiff.
Thank you. I don't deserve this kindness.
No, you deserve prison for like eternity. But as he walks away and he's like, don't worry, I know the customers that come to this barbershop. You having to be surrounded by them, that's punishment in itself. And so he goes into the barbershop.
So what will you do now? Anything I want.
I'm glad that your plan to make amends for the awful suffering you've inflicted on innocent people that you kidnapped is just, I'm gonna be an evil bint again.
I understand if you hate him.
Because after all, he's a bloke. Why are we treating her as if she's a victim? She was the one kidnapping the people.
I won't have that in my heart.
I'm evil enough without hating him. I kind of appreciate his go-get-him attitude.
What did you say? Hurts people, hurts people.
Yeah, it was nonsense then, and it's nonsense now. Sick and twisted evil people hurt people. I mean, the dregs of humanity.
Immortal, teaching a god life lessons.
Didn't actually know she was a god. She's an evil god. Not just let an evil god walk away with no punishment. But he goes and he's like, no, I'm going to cut hair for a living. The doctor submits himself to his evil god. This is a real tough argument at this point to say that the doctor isn't also evil now, as he is submitted to essentially Satan. But then he is in the TARDIS with Belinda, and so, you know, that's enough to throw off anyone's moral compass. The constant desire to yeet her out of an airlock. Belinda, though, was like, did you ever see a child? You know, she's important. It was weird. I just saw this random girl. I work around the BBC. I always get suspicious when I see children about.
I didn't see anything.
It's what they all say at the BBC. He says, though, maybe it was the stories leaking out. They were getting mixed up with things. And this truly is linked to Dot and Bubble. Everything about it is the inverse. The story of Dot and Bubble is, well, you know, when those pesky English people get together, everything goes to hell. They create social media, get sucked into their own bubble, and they're the true monsters. But when we go to a country which throws people off buildings just for existing, it's all good. They're all great. Even their gods, even though they're evil, they're also good, and you can't punish them because they're good, even though they're evil. No one can do anything wrong. We can't even have one of them killed. We never found out what the red light did. Because it's a preferred group. You can't do anything to them. It's written into the rules of the BBC. And so everybody has to somehow be sympathetic. Yes, they did want to annihilate the universe and rule over its corpse. But they would just hurt people and hurting people, and so they can't be held accountable for their actions. They were just a blank slate. They had a tough childhood. It's not that the person itself is evil, then that's the person that should be punished for their actions. Can't do that. The moral messaging of this was horrible. The script was written by a 3-year-old, and it really thought it was doing something impressive. When really, the entire episode is about as shallow as you would expect from a story about the doctor having his hair cut. Everything else is just pontificating. Modern art thinking it's deeper than it is. It's not even self-aware enough to realise why this had to be filmed in Cardiff, rather than the country that they say they're in. Personally, I think Russell T Davies should have gone over there. You want to talk about how amazing the place is? I think the least you should do is see if you could survive a week. But it's not meant to be coherent, it's meant to push an idea. If you want to be surrounded by your own people, that's wrong, but if we do, that's great. One rule for thee and one for me, and as long as we all agree that I could never do anything wrong, but I am simply a victim of my own circumstance, to the point where I can try and annihilate the universe and it's still not my fault. That's the moral message you want to push on people. That's what you think is the deep, complex story that we should teach children. Yeah, and the BBC, the evil, coming from within the house. But those are just my thoughts. What are yours? Let me know down in the comments below. Like the video if you like the video. Subscribe. More videos like this in the future, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.